Yo, 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 yo. Welcome to another episode of Big Belly Pats. Episode 44. 44.
Yes.
Okay, see. All right. You sure it's 40? It is 44.
Yes,
Yeah, it's
it is 44.
Episode 44. Of course, I'm Nick. Slowly losing my big belly because I got things happening this summer. So I'm trying not to be as big of a belly. So I'm working on that. And we got all the ladies know him in the office as Big D, Teacher D. All the single moms, holla at him. He got a fresh face, no beard. Hey, my boys. What they say? He's young and he's ready. So, ladies, we got Big D in the house. And we got our special esteemed guest, who's an icon on TikTok. One of the top followed people in China, I'd imagine, because I don't even know if Chinese people even have TikTok, or is it just Red Note?
They got both.
I don't know. Oh, but yeah, we got, huh?
They got Douyin.
Douyin, yeah.
Oh yeah. But yeah, we got my boy Cello Alamo in the house, all the way from Minneapolis, right?
Milwaukee.
Milwaukee. There we go. From Milwaukee, from the slums of Milwaukee. Yep. We got Cello. How you doing, brother?
I just finished work, so I'm still pretty
tired
in the zone right now.
Nice.
Okay. You ain't crashed yet.
I don't know how you work on a Saturday. I don't know. I can't. No thanks. Not a full day at school.
You in a training school, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
For people that don't know, like a training school is pretty much like an after-school program. So it's kind of like after kids finish their public school, they go to what are called training schools, and then it's basically after-school program for whatever subject you want to teach.
Yeah. So that's how I met Cello. Was when I first got to China. I think you'd already been there I got there 2019. When did you first?
I got 2018.
Okay. But we was working at First Sleep together, training center, but we were in different
locations.
Yeah, like different, same company, same city, just different locations. So that's how I met Cello. My boy been running the show since 2018. So yeah, so you went home. How long did you go back to Milwaukee for?
I was here from 2018 to 2022, and then I went back to the States for 2 years, and then I came back to China last year.
Nice.
You didn't want to stay in the States, man? The glorious land of the free.
Oh boy.
Whoa, here we go.
Did I ever tell you like the day I decided to come back to China?
No, I remember you wrote me on, like, we were chatting. We were chatting while you were there, and I remember you telling me you're coming back, but I don't think you told me like the day that you decided.
Yeah, like
I remember because you was working on your motorcycle and stuff.
Yeah, I ended up selling my motorcycle and then getting enough cash to come back. Cause like the day I decided to come back, like I pulled up at a red light and a stolen car pulled up next to me with 3 masked people, and the dude had an AR in the back. And I was like, I kind of don't want to live here.
Mm-hmm.
I like walking outside at night, so I'm gonna go back to China for a while.
Mm-hmm. That sounds that sounds it sounds like that sounds exactly right. Yeah, similar thing. I had already had plans to come back, or not come back to China, but to leave the U.S. when I first went home. But I only spent 6 months in the States before I came to the UK. And those 6 months, I hated it. It was one of those. I'm pretty sure we've had that moment where you're just like, why in the fuck am I here? Like, this is just terrible. So, no, yeah, that sounds like a good reason to leave any place. So glad you got out of that. No ARs and masked men walking around. You could take a nice stroll at 2 a.m. and not worry about shit. So
and they say South Africa is dangerous.
When I returned home, I didn't have Africa past 10, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
Once past 10, it's nah. No, I'm not doing South Africa. I mean, you could always move back if you wanted to.
What do you mean you're not doing South Africa? You have to do it with me.
Yeah. I do if I have like a guide. I'm not just
Yeah.
rocking up though.
No, don't rock up. No, don't
No,
rock
hell
up.
no.
You need to have a plan to rock up to South Africa. That's the safe bet.
I'm not popping up anywhere in Africa solo.
I would say Ethiopia and Ghana would be pretty cool. Pretty cool.
Bro, I feel like it'll be cool until I open up my mouth and then they'll be like, "Oh, you're American." Okay. And then the whole vibe shifts. I'm like, nah. I can fight a few. I can't fight that many, so nah, I don't want that smoke, man. But yeah, we're glad to have Cello here with us. Finally got you on here with us.
You are our third guest. The representation is getting a bit out of hand here because we've had 3 Americans. Am I right? Yeah, we've had 3 Americans. 3 Americans as guests: Olivia, Corey, Cello. And the last time I checked, yes, Charles. I forgot Charles. Oh, Charles is going to harass me for that. That's 4 guests. Okay, 2. Well, Charles is Kenyan / South African, but Kenyan mostly. Kenyan. So that's, I mean, yeah. Still
Olivia was a good one. My cousin, I love my boy to death. That boy is just, that's Corey. So love him to death. He's coming here next month to go to a Wolves match.
Yeah, just make sure he gets there, you know. Yeah. Doesn't forget much.
But yeah, man. So Cello, just let the people know. Let all 10 of our followers know. Hopefully, you're what, you got 40 million followers on TikTok, something like that.
40,000.
Same.
Hopefully, we can take a few.
Same. But yeah, man, tell us a little bit about yourself. How you first got to China in 2018.
Yeah, and I was doing volunteer work as like a ceramics teacher, and I was doing that for like 2 years. And someone asked if I wanted to teach English, and I was like, nah. They're like, you want to teach English in China? And I'm like, what? I can do that? Because like no one in my family's been to China. Like we don't know any of it. We didn't grow up around it, so it felt like it, just a really good opportunity, or just some like you never know what could happen kind of thing. So I was like, why not? And yeah, I loved it. But it wasn't always I wanted to say, because like people that are coming over here from TikTok or whatever, like they see 7 years worth of progress of like what I made it for, like being comfortable in my house. Like in the beginning, it wasn't like that at all.
Yeah.
So,
no.
I was gonna actually ask you guys, like, what was your first like experiences or things that happened when you first got here?
I hated it. My first, when I first got there, because with First Sleep we were recruited. Was your first job with First Sleep?
Getting to China, yeah.
Okay. But yeah, so you recruited, you had to go. I don't know if you still had to do it, but we had to go to like Beijing to do the training and all that stuff. So that was cool. When I got to Shenyang, though, I got there in late August, September. It was hot. My apartment was shit. They took the air conditioner out. I found out, Chinese mattresses are about this thick right here.
Yeah.
About that thick. I didn't know that, and I jumped on the bed and almost threw my fucking knee out. I did not know that. I plopped right on a fucking piece of wood. It was just shit. It was just hot, and where I was living in Changbai, which is nice now, but it was doing a lot of construction at the time, so it was just dusty. I got scammed on Didi, so I didn't have no money. That first month, I was ready to be like, fuck this place. I'm going home. Like, I can't do this. Glad I stuck it out. I tell people all the time, if you can stick it out that first month or two, stuff really starts to fall in place. So I hated it. The apartment life was terrible. But it was just, I think, coming from a place of comfort to somewhere completely different, where you're just a small fish in a big pond. Um, After I kind of, to be fair, after that first check came in and I had some money to play with, I was like, okay, I can make some stuff. I can make some stuff wiggle at this point. So my first shopping trip went to IKEA, bought all furniture, and because at the time I
Everyone's
didn't know
first
like
trip.
the other stores and stuff, so I didn't have like Taobao and all that. Straight to IKEA, bought furniture, cleaned my apartment. I was like, okay, okay, I can do this. But it was a bit of a learning curve, especially I did no research before coming to China. I don't know if you did any research before
I
going.
think all of us have just rocked up.
Yeah,
rocked up.
leap of faith.
Yeah,
We're telling people on this show, do your research. Listen to our
yeah.
podcast. We'll give you tips. We did not do nothing of
Did none of
And we
that.
did it the hard way.
that.
So, but yeah, I don't know about you, Daniel. Was it rough for you first getting into China?
So I'm not going to lie. I I think I said in the previous episodes, like I thought I was coming to like farmlands. I swear I was. And I'm when I lived in South Africa, I was mainly in a farm environment or like outskirts environments. So I wasn't like living in big cities or huge apartments. My ex-wife and I, we were living in like a bachelor pad or a garden flat. We've never had like rooms, if you know what I mean. So when we rocked up, we were treated very well by our kindergarten, and I think that's the easier part. Is the kindergarten that we were brought in didn't have a lot of foreigners to look after, so they could like be more attentive to what our needs. So when I rocked up to my apartment, we had 2 rooms, which I've never had in my life. We had a bathroom, which wasn't connected to any room. You know, the bathroom wasn't next to the stove, and I had a kitchen, a walk-in kitchen with closet space. I was like, oh my! And then I had 2 living rooms. I had a dining room table and a sofa. Some of the things I've never had in my life. So at the time, I was like, okay, all right, we've arrived. But I think my biggest thing was I was about to shit my pants when I was about to walk into a classroom. Never taught in my life, and I was just like, do I what? And I saw those kids, and I think I was more petrified of those 3-year-olds that I first taught. I was like, I'm scared of you more than you're scared of me at this moment. But I think that was that was my thing. So, and the culture shock of I still don't understand fuck all in this country, but I think I think I'm way more used to it now, and I'm pretty chilled about it, and I appreciate it somehow. So yeah, so I think like it was less like I think more so I was in boarding school, so I could deal with separation from my family, but my ex-wife was struggling the most in the beginning. So
Mm-hmm.
it was like trying to deal with her dealing with being away from family, starting a new job in this very alien country to us. So yeah,
Yeah,
like we've all said, it's not easy in the beginning.
no.
It is.
I
It
I
doesn't
think
matter
with
if you have like a strong community, you're gonna be struggling a little bit.
and not even to like brag on First Sleep, but I think that was one of the good things about it is that with First Sleep, as soon as we came in, they introduced you to so many foreigners, so many. Because when I got to Beijing, they had already had a Facebook group that I had no idea about. So when people came up to me, they was like, "Oh, you're Nick. You're going to Shenyang," and I'm like, "Bro, I don't even know you. Who are you? Like, how do you know my name?" One of my friends, Alex, first person that came up to me, "Oh, you're Nick. You're going to Shenyang with me." Bro, I don't know you, fool. I don't know you, bro. I'm not going anywhere with you. So, but that's my boy now.
Mhm.
I can
But
imagine
yeah,
Nick just saying, "Who the fuck are you?"
Yeah.
but but I think that was a good thing. At least with, I think it helped with a lot of the culture shock with First Sleep is that they immediately threw you in to, might not have been a bunch of people from where you're from. It was a few Americans, but English speakers that you can just have casual conversation with. When I first came to Shenyang, there was only like 5 of us or 6 of us in my group. But as soon as I got there, they took us to the headquarters and I met Cello and Freddie and Shan and all these people. I went to my first school. My first school I was at, I met Lucy and Greta. So it was just like, okay, at least I might be struggling, but I can get these numbers real quick and I can figure out what's what the expat community, at least with First Sleep at the time, was really helpful.
Yeah, I've
So
been wondering about that lately because, like, for us back, what would it be, 7 years ago? Like,
hmm
it would be actual groups of people coming to these
Yeah.
from these recruiters, like you're saying, so
hmm
we're all in the same boat kind of thing. But now that those companies are kind of gone, I'm kind of wondering what is like, other than word of mouth, or if you know someone personally that is a recruiter. I wonder kind of
yeah,
how it goes now, because I'm sure a lot of people are interested in that.
yeah. I'm not entirely sure. I know one of my friends, Vicky, she shared some stuff on her Instagram a while ago about teaching at in China, teaching at her school. I didn't ask her about it, so I don't know if people get in touch with her and they get in touch with the school. I don't know how the recruiting and stuff goes now. When I did leave China for about a year since I've left, occasionally I would get on like LinkedIn and I was still getting offers to teach at this school and that school. So people were still like reaching out. I didn't respond to any of them, but it's actually good. I'm not sure how it works now. When I was recruited, I thought it was a scam. Um, on LinkedIn, I still remember her name. She was in Orlando.
Yeah.
Olivia Wong. I tried to find her a while ago. I think she's just fell off the face of the earth. The Olivia Wong, she wrote me on LinkedIn. I was like, this is a scam. But the kicker for me was when I looked up First Sleep's Instagram, because I thought it was a scam, and I was scrolling, and it was a bunch of like white teachers, and I'm like, yeah, this is still a scam. And then I saw a picture of Shan, and I was like, whoa, 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 somebody of color. And I found Shan's Instagram. I wrote Shan because I was like, if this is a scam, she ain't gonna lie about this. And Shan was like, no, this is real. I was like, oh, okay, cool, cool, cool.
Yeah, that
But
was another thing I got a lot of. Whereas, like, how do Chinese people, or like people in general over here, like react, or to like colored people, or how is life for them, kind of thing? Because like, even though I'm half Mexican, half Puerto Rican, like I put a mask over my face, you'd think I'm Chinese. So I don't really get recognized like that. But like, if you have like an opinion on that, because I got a lot of messages and a lot of comments asking like, how do they treat like morenos? How do they treat like black people? How do they treat just people of
have,
color?
have you had any instances, at least lately or anything, where someone over there has asked you some questions or try to, touch your hair or some shit like that?
No, the only time
Or
I
the,
get like
or the
stopped is
kids?
anytime they see my passport, or when I have a beard. Like the kids will just want to touch my beard, but that's
Yeah, yeah,
about
yeah.
it.
Oh man, do they give you hell with the passport?
But yeah, all the time.
Pisses me off, man. Don't even. I'm not gonna get into that because that'll be a whole hour of me just talking shit about
Hey man,
that.
I got some crazy stories. Like they pulled me aside and put thermometers under both my arms, like the old school mercury thermometers. Like,
Damn.
and just to get on the train, I had to sit there for 15 minutes while I had these actual thermometers under my arms, while just like Chinese people passed by, like it was nothing.
This was obviously during COVID.
After,
After.
yeah.
See, couldn't be me.
But do what passport do you hold? An American passport. Damn.
Couldn't be
Yep.
me. See.
It's just like that. So I'm
Like
not like a
like for me
person to
now,
outburst.
yeah. So for me now in travel, like I've gotten like now 4 or 5 group travels with my kids in terms of like school, and we have like a stack of passports. We have US, British, South African, whatever, loads of passports. Bro, they see that stack of passports, they look at it and they go, this guy. And that's like through trains. And airports is different. Airports, they check it, everything. I think like that's been pretty chilled. The biggest problem they give our kids is our Chinese Hong Kong kids, our Cantonese children. They have the biggest questions when asked when they're traveling with our parents, because their ID cards are very different to Chinese. They look the same, but they have special ID cards that they need to travel. But foreigners, when we travel in groups, they just look at us and like, oh, school, go. And like the trains to Changchun, Dalian, Beijing, we've had breezy travel. There's been no issues. The only fucking issue they give me is when they take away my sports medical bags, and they try and take away all half my stuff that I need for the kids. And I'm like, that's for my fucking kids. I have eye spray that's about this big, and they hate the can. That's the only trouble they've ever given me. And then I always have kids that translate, and I was like, can I have money first? You're going to take it and they have money. And my kids are like looking at me awkwardly like, I don't want to say this in front of them. Please tell me something else. And I was like, just leave it.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's weird that they did that. It's, oh, man, you know?
Yeah, it'd be like that.
I've only ever had.
What about the plane? When you were traveling in the plane during COVID and everyone got off the bus when you got on, the transit bus, and then on the plane the lady didn't want to sit next to you, so you got upgraded to first class.
Yeah, she you know, like in China, you go to like some of your planes, you got to get on the bus first, and they drive you to the plane.
Yeah, the shuttle.
And the shuttle, yeah, and I got on the shuttle. I was going to, I think Sonya. I was going to Sonya because I think it was. Long story short, Lucy was on like vacation. My vacation was after hers, but I was meeting her at the end of her vacation, the beginning of mine. And I met her and like Nina and Vicky and Sonya. But so I flew down there solo. And I got on the shuttle. I got my headphones in, so I'm not really listening to nobody. And I get on the shuttle. I sit down on my seat. And I'm just like sitting there, and I've just started to notice as people are getting onto the shuttle, like I'm on like, you know, the back of the shuttle. So it's like the bench. It's like 6 seats or whatever. And I'm like kind of in the corner. So like you can sit there and not even be near me. I'm kind of tucked off in the corner. And I just so happened to look up. The bus is full. People are trying to cram onto this and no one's sitting in this bench. Like you can sit at the other side of this bench 6 feet away from me. And no one's sitting on this bench. People are not even getting close to me. I just happened to look at people just kind of just like looking at me, kind of just like not trying to get on. I'm just like, here goes the bullshit. But in my head, I'm like, I don't care. If you don't like me to not sit next to me, even better. Perfect. I kick my feet up. But the lady came onto the bus and she was like, hey, can you get in this van and go with us? At first, I'm like, see, that don't sound cool. Hey, black man, get into this random van. No. No.
Was it white?
It was a gold van, but it had windows all around the side and you could see in the van. I'm like, okay, so
like people
not too secret. Yeah. So I was like, cool. I got into it. And then they took me, some other people was on the van, but they took me to the plane. And then I was about to go to my seat and the lady stopped me. And which is also cool because, and I don't know if people know this, but in China, a lot of the airline hosts speak some form of English to kind of help you out. But she was like, yeah, the people who sit next to you don't want to sit next to you. She didn't tell me why. We knew why, but she didn't say why. But she's like, they don't want to sit next to you, so we're going to put you into first class. So I'm like, cool. I can do that. It's the first time like xenophobia worked out for me. And so I sat in, so I got onto the plane, and first class gets on first. So I got onto the plane. I'm sitting in first class. This lady came and like gave me like a rag to like wash my hands. Gave me some orange juice. Well, when the bus pulls up with everybody else, it's one of those planes where everybody gets in the front. So you got to get on, and then you got to walk past first class to the cheap seats. So I'm sitting there with this orange juice, and all these people are getting on. Walking past me, looking at me. I'm just sipping orange juice. Got my, it's like one of those big ass lazy boy seats. I'm chilled back. I was having the time of my life. I was just like, yeah, just keep walking. I was having a good old time. It was been a nice, 5.5, 6 hour flight. That was my first class flight. And I don't have first class money, but if I did, boy, I would fly first class everywhere. That shit was nice. It was, I think Shenzhen Air, something like that. Yeah, that shit was nice. So that was the only time xenophobia is like, you know, it's like, I appreciate this racism. Give me more of that. If y'all gonna upgrade me to get me away from everybody, we can do that. Yeah,
did you end up taking the slippers and the blanket?
Well, I never take the slippers because in China, man, them slippers don't fit me. They all one size.
Never fit anyone. those hotel slippers, man, I walk around them and they're like, I'm dragging my feet with them. I'm just like,
yeah, hotel slippers. Anywhere I go, to be fair, any country, I've been to like Turkey and all this stuff. Any country that I've been to in a hotel and they give you those slippers, I never open them because I know they don't have a size 13 slipper in that bag. So I never.
So you gotta take the blanket.
I took the blanket.
Yeah,
I took the blanket. No, actually, I didn't take the blanket because I was going to Sanya. It was burning up hot in Sanya.
Oh, that's true. First class there instead of back.
Yeah. No, because I didn't do first class back because I was doing my. This is when when First Sleep was like, you can only take a vacation during this time.
Yeah.
Blah 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 blah. And it was the end of because me and Lucy were in the same center, so they wouldn't let us go together. So at the end of hers was the beginning of mine. We had like a 3-day where we was at the same time because we were the only 2 teachers in that center, so they wouldn't let us go at the same time. And so I went to Sanya. She flew back, but then from Sanya I went to Shenzhen for a few days with some friends, and then that's when I got stuck in Shenzhen because COVID kicked off.
Yeah,
COVID kicked off. They wouldn't let me leave Shenzhen. I had to kind of sneak. I had to sneak on a train and go to Changsha because there was no flights. No train was going to take me back to Shenyang. So I had to like finesse my way onto like this random dingy train to Changsha. And then I had to finesse a train from there to like Chongqing or Chengdu or something. And then I had to get to, it was a shit show. I eventually made it back, obviously, but it was just, during that time, if you was anywhere in a city or a district and there was at least one case, you cooked. You cooked. Don't. It's cool if you were at home, but I was not. Yeah,
I was at home chilling, dude. Like everyone's talking about like all these horror stories of like COVID and stuff, dude. I was like just chilling every day, all day, ordering food, playing games, like getting paid to work when there was no work.
Man, that was the good thing about First League. We was getting paid in full.
Damn, you guys were getting paid in full, not working. Damn,
we were working, but it was
kinda.
Yeah, but instead of like teaching online, it was like instead of because obviously they don't want the kids looking at the screen for 40, 50 minutes. So it was like a watered down 10-minute, 20-minute class.
Yeah.
So that's why I think, because when COVID first kicked off, a lot of people like dipped. A lot of people left. I think most people in First Leap stayed because we were getting 100% pay. So I'm like, I get to stay at home, do 20% of the work and get a full salary. I ain't going nowhere. And sat my happy ass down at the house. And then luckily when it first started, I was in a neighborhood in Changbai that was like a nice community. So we couldn't just leave the community, but it had everything in it. And then my second apartment was the same. It had like inside the community, we had like, you can shop, do your laundry, big old park. You can do everything you needed just in the gates. So I was like, I ain't going nowhere. So me and Lucy just sat at the house, got drunk and stacked money and taught kids for 30 minutes a day. That was about it. Yeah, I ain't
dude,
going nowhere.
It was baller.
Yeah, I ain't going nowhere.
What a time.
Missed that.
Well, he basically does the same thing now. Don't let him fool you, Silla. He basically does the same thing now.
I work 8 hours a day.
Yeah, go on, man.
I'm on the clock 8 hours a day.
There we go, rephrase it.
I'm on the clock 8 hours a day. And 2 of those days, I do go into the office at the Liverpool docks.
And then I get a message, I'm really bored.
But the other 3 days, I work till about 3. And then I play FIFA till about 5. And
the funniest thing is if I'm online and I'm talking to him playing FIFA, Lucy walks down and says, "Oh, look at you working hard," and he's like, "I am working hard. I've worked hard," and I'm like, "Yes."
Yeah, I'll be working. Side note: no one on my job knows I do this podcast.
Yeah, just to probably clarify, we were all teachers like in China before, and now so just Daniel and we are still teachers in China, but Nick has moved on to bigger and better things.
Bougie business.
Paying
people money. Yeah, he followed a girl.
Followed a girl.
Mm-hmm.
Followed a girl, which
Whoa! So you followed a girl, but now you haven't told anyone. We're half an hour into the podcast.
Yeah.
You were
So
supposed to announce something.
I followed a girl, but we was already together.
We'll cut this out for Lucy. Don't worry.
We was together for a few years before I left. So
Yeah, just do like a quick backstory of like how you met, because you've been saying her name, but you haven't mentioned it's your significant other yet.
Yeah. So me and Lucy, funny story. When I first got to China and I hated life, the lady who was showing me around to my center in Changbai, which is it was kind of like a small mini-ish island in the middle or at the south of the city, but it was like away from all the other centers. So I was like far from Selo, but I was in the south of the city. And it was like, we're gonna take you to your center and you can meet the other foreigner. It's a British girl who works there. And I was like, cool. So we go there. They take me to the office. Mind you, it was hot. I remember it was just burning up in Shenyang. And, in China, it ain't nothing but windows open. There wasn't no AC going or nothing. And we get into the center, and they were like, oh, she's in a class. She's going to come out. When she gets out of class, she'll come into the office and meet you. Cool. This girl comes out. Don't get me wrong. I love my girl to death. She comes out. Her hair was a mess. This girl looked stressed, worked out. I was like, God damn, like you look rough. And I'm thinking in my head, like, she must have been here about 2, 3, 4 years. And I was like, oh, how long you been here? She's like, oh, a month. I said, a month. I was like, nah, I might go home after this one because this ain't looking too hot. A month? God damn, girl, you look rough. And she wasn't happy. She was just sweaty. But anyway, that's how we met. They always say don't shit where you eat. But in that situation, it was another foreign guy who worked there, but he was just an asshole. But me and her, like in Changbai, it wasn't a lot of foreigners that around in Changbai at the time. So outside of when everyone hung together in First Sleep, when I was in Changbai, it was just me and her hanging out because it wasn't no one else. It was like first language English speakers around. So me and her, we were just kicking it. We were just cool. We were just kicking it. We would go out in Changbai, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. COVID kicked off. When stuff got shut down, outside of messaging, didn't really have nobody to talk to face but Lucy. And she and I lived like down the I had my own apartment like down the street from her. So really wasn't nobody else to kick it with. And at the time I was dating somebody else, she was dating somebody else. We both stopped talking to those people around the same week. And one day she left her keys in her office. I say this because I still feel like it was a setup. But she left her keys in the office and the school closed. So she didn't have keys to get into her house. So she didn't have nowhere to stay. And Nick lived down the street. Bing, bang, boom. We've been together for about 5 years now. So I still say.
So Sela, where did Nick leave the keys? Where did he hide them?
Leave my keys.
Huh?
I did leave my keys.
She ain't leave her keys. She ain't leave her keys.
Lucy in the background, story. Legend.
She ain't leave her keys. It was a trap, man. I know a trap. But she was fine though, so I was like, all right, it's cool. We can play dumb. It's whatever. but so yeah, that's how we met, man. That's my shorty. We've been together, I think about 5 years now. I think this Christmas will be 6 years. We got together on Christmas Day in Harbin. But yeah, as far as the news, I was going to say, Lucy we got a little one on the way now.
Hey.
We found out November. We found out we're having a little boy supposed to be coming on August 18th. So this summer is going to be a crazy summer.
Nick's gonna be a father.
My birthday is August 15th.
Ooh.
Shit. Ooh. The funny thing is, when they told us the date, they were like, they told us the date August 18th. And the first thing we were thinking of, do we know anybody that has a birthday in August? Because, like, for me, March is a really bad month because I have a lot of family birthdays in March. I go broke in March. I hate March. And I'm like, as long as this kid ain't doing March, I can do that. So we was like, okay, let's look at August. And her sister's birthday is in August. But we were like, okay, that's it. Since then, we've met about like 15 other people's birthdays in August. And I'm like, fuck me, man. So yours is the 15th. I think my aunt is the 15th. I think Jenny's her sister's birthday is the 15th. It's just a lot of August.
Oh, no,
But yeah, man, we having a little boy.
Congratulations.
Yeah, we're having a little one. I told people this is the first time that someone's told me that they're pregnant, and I was excited. You know, I was like, damn, I'm having a kid on purpose. That's wild. You know, I'm used to it. I'm pretty sure, as we know, like, if this was 10, 15 years ago and some girl was like, I'm pregnant, we'd be like, oh, fuck. I fucked it up. Fucked up. How do I tell my mom this? You know? But I'm like, now. And yeah, and I was thinking, because I'm so used to working with kids, you know, usually it's like 3 o'clock. All right, bro, we had our fun for the day. Time for you to go home. This one goes home with me. I'm like, damn, bro. Like, I'm gonna look around like, bro, why are you still here, man? Where your mom at?
But I told him he's gonna be a great father because he's a night owl. So
yeah.
he's gonna handle the night duties better than most people do. Because he goes to bed at like 2 a.m. and the kid will be needing attending. So it'll be.
So
you'll be.
It's gonna be a. No, I know I will. It's just honestly, the only thing I'm not looking forward to is I'm very queasy around shit, and I don't know how to deal with these diapers, man. I'm very.
That's
can do,
easy
like,
for me. That's
the
easy.
Boogers and snots, that's fine, but it's just poo. I don't even look at my own poo. I'm like, bro, I can't, bro. That's gonna be a hell of a curve. And then Lucy was like,
to record that first time you changed the diaper.
She was like, when's the last time? Because I don't like hold newborn. I don't know anybody with like a newborn. And when I see someone with a newborn, I don't want to hold someone else's baby because they look so like fragile. And in my head, I'm like, I don't want to drop somebody else's kid. I don't want to be that guy. So Lucy was like, oh, when's the last time you held a baby? And I was like, oh, my sister. She was like, yeah, Nick, you was 6. I'm like, yeah. So it's been about 25 years since I've held a kid. So yeah, man, August is gonna be interesting. So yeah, for those listening, I do have a kid on the way. My house is a mess, man. We've been buying stuff. There's a shitload of diapers downstairs. Yeah, man. That's why I was saying I'm trying to lose my belly because I fell down this rabbit hole of kids who get kidnapped. And
what?
He wasn't able to run after that.
So I found out that I was watching interviews of like people in prison who've like kidnapped kids or abducted kids or did something to kids. And one thing they all said was they always look at the father and they always see like if he's in shape enough, if he's like how the father is. It was like they always, because it's easy to steal someone from like an out of shape father or unattentive father or whatever who ain't gonna do shit. So since then, I've been in the gym. Cause I'll be damned if someone taking my kid. I'm killing somebody.
Father instincts have kicked in hard, hey? Yeah, Father instincts have kicked in hard.
So I've been doing about 40 push-ups every day. I'm in the gym. Yeah, so bun all that. So yeah, but yeah, man. I'm having a kid, man. It didn't hit until my grandmother told me you're gonna be a father, and I was like, oh fuck me. I'm responsible for someone's life. Barely been doing well on my own, but goddamn. So yeah, man. That's the big news. August is going to be a tricky one, but I'm excited, man. I'm excited. Lucy's excited. The family's excited. Luckily, we got good family. My mom has already spent hundreds on clothes already. So yeah, it's going to be a lot. It's going to be a lot. So, but I'm looking forward to it. Yeah, man. I'm really looking forward to it. I won't be coming home to the States. I had plans to come to the States this year, but that has been officially scrapped.
For good reason. For good reason.
Yeah. So for good reason, but I think I'll be back in the States next year to bring the baby to the family, show everybody, etc., etc.
Yeah, this is mine. Holding up the baby like.
You see this? I did this on purpose. Again, on purpose. This was not an accident.
Yeah.
This was not an accident. So yeah, here we are. But no, I'm excited, man. It's I've been getting a bunch of messages from family. Everyone's excited. I'm just glad it wasn't twins. I told her to pass the fuck out if it was twins. Cause my mom was a twin. If it was two in there, I think I've never passed out before. I think I'd. So
double the
but yeah,
tuition.
man. Yeah.
You gotta be looking at schools soon, man. You gotta be looking at schools. That waiting list is rough.
It's a school right across the street.
Are you sure of that?
I mean, it's a Catholic school, but it's a school.
Yeah, that's what I'm asking. Are you sure?
It's a Catholic
It makes
school.
sense. It literally makes sense because Nick literally lives across from a school. The street.
Yeah,
across.
like I'm literally looking at the sign in the playground right now.
Yeah,
So
it
it's
does
right
make
across the
perfect
street.
sense.
If anything, they
happen.
I don't know. I mean, there do be a lot of out of shape fathers walking around over there, so I don't know. Maybe, maybe, but I mean, I don't know. But yeah, it's a nice school though. Sometimes when we record, the kids will be outside playing. They got like a little daycare thing. They were looking at as well. And if you walk slow, you can get to the front gate in about 45 seconds.
Are you timing it?
He's timing. It's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
I'm just
He's
saying.
working on that sprint at the gym.
Oh yeah. Oh, I've been on the bike. I've been on the. Hey man, I'm telling you, if anybody listening, you fucking my kid, man, fuck around and find out.
He's ready. He's ready. He's all set. Father instincts have kicked in. This guy's ready for fatherhood.
So yeah.
Thank goodness it wasn't a girl. Thank goodness for you, it wasn't a girl. Because that girl would walk all over you.
Yeah. But moving on though. You've Cello, you've gotten a large push from, I'm assuming, when TikTok was canceled in the US for a month or 2 months or however it was.
It was about 2-3 days, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was like 2 days.
Yeah, it was canceled for 2 days. People play out like it was for a year, but it was only like 3 days it was canceled and then right back up.
Yeah, and then since then you've been, because I remember you showed me on your, a lot of people were like asking like about your apartment and all that stuff. Did it just come out of, because I'm assuming you already had TikTok before this happened.
I made like 2 joke videos like way back in the like years ago, and I've never like uploaded a video of like anything real. And then I saw the trend of like people showing their apartments in China, and it like they have beautiful houses, but it doesn't feel like a house at all. Like it'll be like a 3-bedroom with like gorgeous furniture, like top.
It feels like a hotel.
Yeah, but they treat it like a hotel. Like you walk in, or they walk into like their second bedroom, and there's like cleaning supplies and like stuff all over the bed, and like for me, I don't want to walk into a like my house and feel like I don't belong there. So I felt like I wanted to make a video that shows like how hard I worked on my house to make it feel like, damn, this is like a place I want to live. So I ended up making the video, and I thought like my 4 cousins that follow me were gonna watch it, and then I wake up the next day and it's like 1,000 people watched it, 10,000 people watched it. Like 2 weeks later, 5 million people watched it, and now it's at 10 million.
Damn.
Yeah, I got super scared though, like really scared, because like I didn't want to feel like I'm representing anyone other than myself, like living in China, because like a lot of people don't live like how I live, and I kind of felt bad because like a lot of people were saying, you know, Chinese people don't make this much, or normal people don't live like this. And I'm like, I just wanted to express myself and show like
Yeah,
how I'm
that's
doing,
how I
because
live.
yeah, I worked hard. Like it's been 7 years since I first got here, so I know the ins and outs.
Right, right. I
So
also think that
yeah,
a lot of it is not a lot of it, but from my experience of seeing that, I'm pretty sure Daniel can attest to this. At least in Xinjiang, for sure. I think that the foreign community somewhat fairly well off. Not like rich. We ain't
Yeah,
like
comfortable.
rolling in money, but we're comfortable.
comfortable.
We're comfortable. You can afford the things that you, for the most part, won't. We ain't driving Lamborghinis around or no shit, but for the most part, you can afford what you want. Have some piece for savings, for traveling, et cetera, et cetera. Like I've been, obviously not the same place. I've been to your old place um,
Which one? I've had
before.
4 places before this last video that they saw, so I'm currently on my 6th place.
The one
The
I've
t-
been to,
the 2 floor one.
no, no, I've been to the. Well, I've been to it, but not when you lived there. I've been to it. You remember, Andrew,
Oh,
Black Andrew moved into it.
yeah, yeah. After a
Yeah,
year.
yeah, yeah. So I've been to it when he lived there. I've been there like 2 or 3 times. He's in, where's he at now?
He's in
Xiamen,
Zhuhai.
Zhuhai, Zhuhai. And then I've been to the one. It was one floor. I just remember walking in, like your little, oh shit, your little thing was like, you had a massive wall. There was a big old window, and your bedroom was right behind the living room. Uh,
Oh yeah, yeah. It was
I don't know. I
a
don't remember where it was at, but
yeah. That was there was like tennis courts and a basketball court outside, and you
yeah,
like
I just
walk in.
remember walking in because I've always known Cello to be probably one of the most tech heavy guys I've ever met. You and I have one of my cousin back home named Devontae. When I went home, act funny, random story. When I went home and I'm linking up with him, he was asking me about China and stuff. And his house, he bought a house now. I've always told him, I was like, you and my boy Cello would be the best of fucking friends because y'all are the same. But but when I first came to Cello's house, I remember you had like the little robot going around on the ground,
Yeah, I got
sweeping
it
up
right here.
stuff.
It's right down
Yeah.
here. I got another
So
one.
I took a lot of inspiration from Celos. I think I remember when I was there, I wrote some stuff on my phone. I was like, I'm about this, about this, about because of you. Like I didn't even thought like, and it'd be like simple stuff, but stuff that like I just didn't think of, like hiding the cables, your Ethernet cables on the walls and stuff. I'd have never thought of that. And
My
then because of
internet
Celo,
goes across my floor here. It
yeah,
literally
but,
goes from my
but
router all the way to my PlayStation. It just goes across. I walk over it. I'm terrible with cables. Cables are not
yeah.
my game. It's just literally just so I
But
can see
but
it.
because of Cello, I've like bought the little thing that like blends into the wall, so you can't even tell it's there, and it's
Sarah,
going
can you
all the
come
way
visit me?
around my PlayStation.
Come and
Yeah,
fix my
I was
stuff.
telling you guys, like, if you want like just what is it called, like cable organization, or just like things what to get, like I especially since I live right next to Sanhaojia, which is like the
Shit,
technology
street
um yeah, area
block.
of the whole
Yeah,
city. Like you could go and get stuff for super cheap.
yes. And now, if you need anything, if you're in Xinjiang, you need anything tech, Sandhow is the place to go.
Yeah,
But I feel like
I
it could be
just
overwhelming though, because it's like floors upon floors. If you don't go
the
in there
same
like
old stuff
knowing,
too.
yeah, yeah, you got to go in and know, you got to go walk in and know exactly what you want. You can't be going there just trying to like shop around.
Because you will
'Cause
leave without the shop.
that and everyone comes up to you trying to sell stuff to you. As soon
You're
as you
gonna buy
walk in that
cell
first
phones you
door,
don't
it's
want.
Yeah.
Like a little Aces laptop shop right there in the front door. And as soon as you walk in, they're like trying to hand you a laptop. I'm like, bro, I'm just here to pick up a HDMI cord, my guy. Like, chill.
Walking out with Nintendo Switch, phones,
Yeah,
everything.
yeah. Um. So yeah. But yeah. So moving on, man. So since you've been in China, is there any like anything like any like taboo topics or something that's come up that you've been there, like especially coming from an American standpoint, something that is probably normalized there, but I guess like a specialist taboo thing that Americans might think of.
Mm, off the top of my head, not really, because like once you get here, everything's just so fast. Like we're so used to like having to drive to 2, 3 places to pick up whatever we need, like back in the States. And here it's like you just pick up your phone and you can pick whatever those 3 things are, and it'll be here in 30 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
So I
Mm-hmm.
wouldn't say it's normally like a taboo thing. It's just once you experience the the
Convenience.
culture of it.
Mm-hmm.
I guess another or go ahead.
I was gonna say, have you driven since you've been in China?
I had to get my friend's car out of a parking space once, but that was it. I was super scared.
I've never driven in China, so been here 6 years. I've never driven it.
But there's really
Yeah.
no need. Like,
No
There's
need.
no need.
It's
yeah, I
like
go to work. It's $1.50 to take the taxi. Like,
that's like when I think about like I know a family here that just got a car about 3-4 months ago, but they are two with 2 kids, which makes sense because
Mm-hmm.
when you're catching DDs and taxis and you got bags and stuff like that for the kids, a car is necessary when you got a family, and it's not like it's unaffordable. It's actually really affordable here. But like as a single guy that's just living and chilling in China, you got subways, you got DDs, you got taxis. I mean, you can walk, bike. It's like there
yeah,
is no need for a car.
And the like you said, like a taxi is $1.50. I remember I used to get a taxi from my last apartment up to Richardson and what's the North District called of Shenyang?
Huanggu.
Huanggu. I used to get a taxi up there, and the taxi would probably work out to like because of traffic and everything, it might be like $4. And I would feel hard done by like, God damn, it was an expensive ass taxi. Like, damn, man, that was $4. Woo! I might have
yeah.
to get the train going back. But
The only
because
thing that
everything's
kills
so
you,
affordable.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
the only bad part is like how long it takes. That's probably like a 30 minute drive,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
still it's $4.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
So so yeah, you was gonna say something else though, something else that you thought about that was
Yeah, I guess kind of another thing a lot of people were like scared of is like, do you need to speak Chinese?
mm-hmm. Well, ask Daniel. Daniel, let's hear your Chinese,
Ah,
Daniel.
I think for me it all depends on how you engage. I think speaking Chinese, I would love to speak Chinese, especially when I am working at school and I'm trying to do vendor stuff, like outside vendor stuff like that, because I run like sports events, activities, and stuff like that. To rely on staff so much to communicate for me, it helps, but it also is like sometimes when you know you're being screwed over, and like the Chinese staff, I've never worked with such amazing human beings in my life. The Chinese staff I've worked with, both at the kindergarten and at my international school now, have been phenomenal. They always spoke English. They spoke English really well. At our international school, it's like having normal conversations with them. But they are so kind and polite that sometimes I just want to say, like, the person screwing us over, I'm not going to sign this deal unless they drop their prices and stuff like that. So that's where I do kind of think. And I think I think from like a personal point of view, like when you like your personal life, it depends on how you socialize. So I socialize through sport and playing a lot of ultimate here. I it's you get to meet some Chinese people that speak very little English, but you don't need to communicate and have conversations with them. But it can get lonely when you can't speak to general people. Go out, like going out and sitting at a coffee shop and bumping into a stranger, or on the subway bumping into a stranger. That's the only like downfall of it, where you might feel like there's a million people around you, but you're still an alien, still not part of the culture, still lonely at times. But at that point, in terms of your daily things, you've got translation apps. Once you've worked out Meituan Elema. You really good find Taobao. I know exactly what to do. I just write it in the Google Translate or the iPhone Translate, write what I want, copy and paste it, and I find exactly what I need. The translation services, the technology is really so strong. It's just convenient. And most of the Chinese things that you need are all in pinyin. So once you've recognized the pinyin part of it, you don't have to pronounce it, you don't have to speak it or understand it. You just got to recognize, okay, like, for instance, I live by Shijidasha. That's my subway. I know what's the pinyin. I don't need to know the characters of it. I just type in Shijidasha or Yingpanjia or Ati Zhongxian. Like, my pronunciations are shit, but you get there.
Right.
You really don't. Like, you pick up phrases that will get you by. Like Dangisha or Xiexie, whatever you need, you just get by. So basic Chinese will get you by. And if you got friends here and or you're coming with family or you're coming with a partner, really, like, if you got support structures in place, which I do, you kind of just be like, you don't really need anything. Like, I've got such good like Chinese staff members that are like friends of mine, and they will be like upset if I didn't ask them for help. I'm trying to find, I broke my coffee table, so I'm trying to find the secondhand one. They're like, we'll get it. Don't worry, we'll help you. And that's like, I think that's the biggest thing is like, people think Chinese people are unfriendly, but like, once in the beginning, they might seem unfriendly to you because you're just strange. You an alien to them. But like, I have a next door neighbor. He's like old. He's like 70, 80. And like, he always sees me, but like, he just like giggles at me. And like, now I'm starting to wear shorts because now I like the weather. It's like 9-10 degrees. So I'm wearing shorts. So in the elevator, he's looking at me strange. And then I was on my phone and I was like scrolling through Instagram, and I'm like, I could see him acknowledging me wearing shorts, and he's giggling at me. And he came and like stood next to me and he wanted to see my phone. So I was just like showing him my Instagram and he was laughing at it. And I was like, yeah, I'm not. So I think like, you just know, but like, yeah, speaking Chinese, it's not a must. If you're going to Shanghai, Beijing, Shenzhen, you're going to survive because there's a lot of English there. They speak English.
I don't think
Shanghai is like, yeah, you could like,
we was in Shanghai. I don't think no one spoke Chinese to us.
Oh, like when I was in Shanghai, the first time I went in 2019, like I was in Shenyang, I went to Shanghai, I went to a restaurant, I went, Jigga, Jigga, and she was like, oh, you want this one? I was like, who? You speak English? She was like, yes, I speak English. How can I help you? And I was like, this is weird. I don't know what's going on. So if you're going to like a remote city, then it can be a little bit tricky where they don't know foreigners. They don't have foreign facilities. They have everything in Chinese, not necessarily pinyin. But it's like, that can be challenging. But if you're going to a big city, learning Chinese is beneficial. And it's almost like a wow factor for them. Like, if you speak really good Chinese, I've seen some of the videos of like foreigners that are speaking fluent Chinese, having full conversations. They do really appreciate that. And but it's not like they're not going to be like, oh, he's not speaking Chinese, leave him alone and stuff like that. So, but again,
if you try, I've also noticed that in my experience, like especially in there, like my Chinese was never great, but in my experience, if you're speaking to someone who's Chinese and you're attempting to say something or something that you've learned, like they can see that you're making an honest attempt to say something. Like you said, they tend to appreciate that. Like, okay, he's trying. It's terrible what you're saying, but I get what you're trying to say, and I appreciate that you're making an attempt to.
And they will help
whatever.
See,
and they'll normally help you out.
That always backfires on me because as soon as I speak like one Chinese word, it's like they say something to me, I'm just like, dui, like, right? They're like, oh, yes. And then they just start rapid firing, like, and I'm just like,
you're like, oh, Zhongwen idiot, okay. Zhongwen idiot, how the Zhongwen idiot, Zhongwen buha, and they're like,
yeah. You do gotta be careful if you say something too good. Like, you get it's like shishia. You say, oh, you said thank you real well. You speak fluent Chinese. Let's talk.
I think like I know that I'm like a a history teacher. Oh man, it was a specific phrase that I learned when I was basically. Oh, I can't remember. So Laoshe is like a teacher. Li Shi Laoshe is a history teacher. So I'm like Li Shi Laoshe, Woshe Li Shi Laoshe, Woshe Nanfei. When I can hear what they're asking and they ask it very slowly. As soon as I reply to that, they're like, "Oh, let's have a full conversation of what." And I'm just like, Zhongwen EDM, very small. And they're like, okay. And then some taxi drivers, they actually switch and they're like, "You're Chinese, good." And I'm like, "You're English, okay? All right, let's do that. Can we?"
Yeah, that's where you get the best teaching as well as taxi drivers because they just want to.
Yeah.
They just want to talk, especially when you get into the speaking for me, large black guy, long hair. Outside of the guys who might play on the CBA, it ain't too many dudes looking like me walking around. Shanghai, maybe, but Shanghai is a massive city. If someone says I've been to China, but they've only been to Shanghai, that's the equivalent of saying I've been to the U.S., but I've only been to New York. Like, doesn't really. Shanghai is so multicultural. Amazing city. I'm so multicultural. But in Shenyang, there ain't nobody looking like me walking around. So as soon as I get in, people are like, and talk and ask questions. As soon as I tie my hair back, they're like, like it's yeah. So
it's the beard as well. Like that shocks people. It's like this growth of beard, and it's just like you're like,
but it's just they're just curious, you know. So I've never taken any offense to anything, but as far like when I came to China, I spoke no English. I mean, not English, no Chinese.
Nice.
I spoke no Chinese.
You've done well, Nick, for the last 6 years. You're doing really good. Good job, Nick.
Your English so good.
So good. So nice.
But yeah, I didn't speak none, and it was a bit like, how am I even gonna finesse my way around? But once you get here long enough, you'll pick up little key phrases that you need to say. You can't have a conversation, but you know how to order a beer or order some food, or at least, if anything, get home. Like, I need a taxi. You'll learn what the subway station closest to your home is. You'll learn the name or whatever the name of your community. Like a lot of the communities, like they would know what it is. Like one of my communities I used to live in was Ludao Shangwan, which was like Green River or something like that. So if I got into a taxi, I remember I got into a taxi and my phone was dead. So I couldn't like get a DD. So I just held a taxi down randomly. And he was speaking to me in Chinese. I didn't know what he was saying. All I said was like, Ludao Shangwan. And he was like, oh, yeah. Boom, got into the taxi, took me straight to the house. I think I just gave him whatever cash I had on me. Wasn't no big deal. And yeah, so like you said, you'll pick up on these little key phrases that you need to know. And then once you're there long enough, then you just start learning more stuff. Working with kids, they've taught me some little key phrases here and there, little funny things to say or whatever. So I'm pretty sure I've had like a delivery driver call me on my phone and I don't know what he's saying. I give the phone to my little 6-year-old Chinese kid.
Yeah.
And he have a full conversation. He's like, okay, then he'll get back to you. He's like, yep, the package is at the door when you get home. Thanks, Timmy. So yeah, it was never like you said, it is beneficial. It's good to know at least a little bit before you get here, before you get to China. But I would say as long as you're in a major city, and we say, because like some people might not even say Shenyang is a major city, but it's like 8 million people there.
Yeah, it's the same population as New York, which is America's biggest.
Yeah, I tell people all the time, and I'm like, oh, I'm in Shenyang. But it's funny because if you go to like Shanghai and you say, oh, I live in Shenyang, you live in the boonies, man. You live in the sticks. You live in the middle of nowhere. Ain't nobody in Shenyang. It's New York. Yeah. But Shanghai has 25 million people. So
when I was in Shenzhen and I met like other teachers from the other school, like our company, and they were like, where do you live? And I was like, no, Shenyang, just north of Beijing. Oh, Beijing. No. Shenyang. north of Beijing. You know where Beijing is? Go north, all the way to Harbin. And I'm like, you people don't even know where we are. All right. And it's like, it's called QSI Shenyang. That's the school, QSI.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, how many, like, is it like a small little room? And I'm like, no, I'm done talking to you guys. But yeah, Shenyang is like the forest compared to anyone else.
But so like any of those major cities, obviously Shanghai, Beijing, Shenzhen, Shenyang, Chengdu, Chongqing, the major cities. For people to listen, if you go to one of those cities and your Chinese is not great, you will still be able to get by with just English. It will benefit you to learn some new little things here and there. It'll help. But
like
those places, a lot of them speak fairly good to great English to kind of get around a little bit. But if you go to those small boony cities, like the small cities and the small towns, we went to Laoshan one time. Yeah, it's you gonna need that Chinese real bad. Luckily, I've been to a place and we had someone who spoke good Chinese, and it was beneficial because we would have been screwed. So yeah, but it's one of those. You don't need it, but it does help a lot if you can just
so much.
Yeah, it goes a long way.
Just get the basic phrases. I think you'll be good. So yeah. On your TikTok, do you have a lot of people ask like a lot of other questions about like your life there that
the biggest one was how did I get here? So like I guess just visa or how to get like visa and like how much money do you need like to actually go over? That was another big one.
Yeah.
Interesting question about how much money. I would say like you depending on how much you need to pay, because rent is a big thing here. Because I don't know how the States works, but like in South Africa, you'd pay like 1 month's rent for deposit and the first month's rent. So it's like That's 2 months rent. Mm-hmm. But here you pay 1 year up front or 6 months up front. And you're like, oh, where do I get? Yeah, so there's all like difference. I pay 6 months. I know some people pay a year. So it's all different, like depending on the landlord, depending on how like flexible they are. But like, yeah, so I would say like depending on also your school when it comes to like visas and money and stuff like that, sometimes schools are pretty chilled about setting you up in decent accommodation, paying up front, and then obviously deducting from your salaries. But I'd say like to be safe, I'd say like come to China with about 10 to 20,000 RMB.
Like if $3,000.
Yeah. I think 15,000 is also really good, because like you don't know if you're coming in and got like a month or a month and a half until your first salary, and to set up your bank card, to set up your WeChat, Alipay, all that stuff, it does take a bit of a process. It's a bit of a long process. It's not like you walking into the country, here's your bank card, you sorted. Here's WeChat, you sorted. No, it's going to be cash for the first 2-3 weeks, and then they set you up. But like I know most banks here, if you set up your international bank card, you can draw money here. I did it when I arrived back in 2019, so nothing's changed. But definitely, I think I'd just been paid out by the company I worked at, South Africa. Like I had not a chunk, like South African rands is pretty useless, but I had about 12,000 RMB that I came with, and that pretty much sorted out things. And for the first month and a half, it was like just living off that, and that's pretty simple. That's not too bad. And yeah, the process now getting your bank cards and stuff like that, it's pretty quick. Back like I would say 15,000 RMB coming over is pretty decent, and it's nice, because like that's that's talking from Shenyang. If I was going to Shanghai or Beijing, I'd say 25.
I'm not surviving a month with that.
No.
25. But again, that's also based on your rent. Like I think it's crazy to think like I pay 2,600 for my place, 2,600 RMB. Like I don't care, because like I don't care saying it, but like people, it's generally not like, it's not an uncomfortable thing to say in China. But like I think when you get to Shenzhen, Beijing, and Shanghai, for the same size as my apartment. Now, mind you, I live in a small place. It's about 78 square meters. It's got 2 rooms, bathroom, kitchen, and an open space where it's a sofa and a table. For 2.6 in a nice area, right by a subway, 3 kilometers from my school. That's like the main priority for me. Is like I'm close to school. I'm close to like gym. I walk to the gym, and 2.6 is not a lot. But when you go to the Shanghai and Beijing, and it's the same size in a crammy place, and it's not as like relaxed or like cool, and you're paying like 10, 15,000 RMB, that's when I start being like, I don't know.
Yeah. No, yeah. Yeah. I came with I had a different situation because before China, I was just not doing great. But I think I brought about $2,000 with me to China, so probably about 14,000 RMB about. Um, but which obviously isn't going on now. With First Leap, they helped us at that time. They helped us so much with like like First Leap bought my plane ticket. Because I was like, I wasn't gonna be able to afford a flight to China. So at that time, they helped a lot with like helping us get our visa set up. When we got there, they took us all together to go get our SIM cards and helping us set up our bank cards. I think we were lucky. I don't know about 2018, but in 2019 with First Leap, we were lucky because they did a lot of hand holding, taking us around places, how to get set up. Because we had so many. My first group, it was like 30 of us, 40 of us from all different parts of the world. So they kind of had to like, all right, we got to keep y'all together to help y'all out because we can't really screw this up. First Leap would still be going on if it wasn't for COVID, I think. But yeah. But at that time, I think we were really lucky. They helped us out a lot. It was a lot of handhold. Like I didn't really have to worry about a lot until I got to Shenyang and I was kind of on my own. That's when I was like, okay, then I'm in survival mode. Now, I don't think they're doing stuff like that. They might be. First Leap for sure isn't doing that now, but other companies might be if you're lucky enough to get in a situation like that. But I would say if you're going to China, once again, we're only speaking from Shenyang. So if you're going to Shanghai, Beijing, Shenzhen, do your research on that. Your money's going to be a bit different. But going to Shenyang, which is a big city, but it's very affordable. I would say if you go there with about about 2 to 3 grand to play with before you get there, I think you'll be all right. Because once again, because another thing in China is we only get paid once a month. So you get because it's a salary pay. You're not getting paid weekly, which I'd imagine most companies you get paid once a month. I never got paid once a month in the U.S., but I was never making that much. But like here in the UK, I get paid once a month. So in China, you get paid once a month, but depending on your school and when you get there and how they payroll works, you might go a month or 2 months without getting paid. Now that first check comes in, like they're pro rata it back, so you'll get a nice check. But you got to survive solo dolo for that first month and a half. You only got the money that you brought outside of getting rent and all that stuff. So
I do,
but it just depends on your situation and what you're going into.
I do have one thing to add, and I don't think we've ever discussed this actually, is if you come over from your home country, bring 6 months supply of your medication that you require.
Medicine, yeah.
Yeah, 6 months. And why I say 6 months is because you got 6 months stock, because that gives you enough time to, first of all, settle in China. Second of all, find a doctor that actually can help you. Luckily, around our communities, we have tons of international places now. Like you got H-Image, you got, what's it called now? They've changed their name, something else,
Speedwell.
Yeah, Speedwell and H-Image. Like, I mean, the doctors at H-Image, their kids go to my school and they're phenomenal. They're really cool. Like, I chat to one of the doctors on WeChat about anything and they're like, that, do this, order this. So once you're into the community and then you settled and you understand what medication or prescriptions you require, then it becomes easier. If you have specific needs, bring a stock over which can help you settle, because they do have medicine here. They've got tons, and they've got different Like I don't understand how you can just buy painkillers and antibiotics whenever you want from these pharmacies. Like no
Yeah,
care.
I don't understand that either.
Yeah, it's like
Yeah.
I don't get it.
It's like I just like
You can just buy a full stock
buy
if you want
this?
to.
Yeah, like,
Yeah, my homie was like, I'm on Ozempic. I'm like, what? In China?
Yeah.
So,
You
but
can just
like
go to the pharmacy and just buy a whole bag full.
yeah,
And no
like,
one's
but I know you
questioning
can't
it.
get like Xanax. I know you can't get like certain stuff like that, like Xanax.
Yeah,
and,
yeah.
So like, I think the nerve killing drugs, the really high dosage nerve killing drugs like depression tablets and stuff like that, that's very difficult to get in China. That is yeah. So like depression tablets, sleeping tablets, Xanax, that's almost like taboo in China. That's
Yeah,
like
if you're bringing
not
those, definitely have like prescription, because like
prescriptions.
they will check your
Yeah.
stuff like in your bag, and you do not
Yeah.
want to be bringing that in.
They will check your shit.
Yeah. So like I know my ex-wife, she had certain tablets that she had prescriptions to, but having them in China was difficult to get. So like that's one thing that's a challenge. But like if you have like asthma, if you have like I don't know, like chronic stuff that you need, chronic medication, they generally do have a Chinese version. I'm not saying Chinese medicine, but like a Chinese version of it, a Chinese drug. Most of it is basically translated, and they do have it. But 6 months, just so that gives you time to settle nicely and stuff like that. So I actually think we've never discussed that, but was.
Have you ever had a like you've met like a Chinese teacher, because we all worked in schools? Like some of the Chinese teachers I've worked with are like very, very, very anti-Western medicine. Like they feel like any type of pill is like a hardcore drug. Like if you give them like what's a headache
Ibuprofen.
pill? Like ibuprofen, Tylenol, they think it's like crack. Like I had a teacher that all this girl had was a crick in her neck. She just couldn't turn her head one way. And we were in the office one day, and I was like, "What's going on with you?" She's like, come almost to tears. She's like, "I can't turn my head." So I'm like, "Okay." So in my head, I'm like, "You got a crick in your neck. You slept wrong. All you need is put some heat onto it, some little ibuprofen or whatever. You're good to go." This lady was not. Because I had ibuprofen in my bag, and I was like, just take an ibuprofen. She was not hearing it. She was like, "No, I'm not taking. Like, why would I take? Because the only thing she knows is drugs." And speaking of drugs in China, like in the U.S. we have Class A drugs, Class B, Class whatever. In China, drugs is drugs. So side note, if you do want to come to China and you want to mess around with some weed or some coke or something like that, don't do it.
Don't even do it before you come. Don't even do it.
Don't do it before you come. They do not play with that. For them, your little bit of weed, which is nothing in the U.S., and crystal meth is the same thing. And you will get the same damn time in prison for that. They don't play. So, but I was going to give her some ibuprofen, and she was like, no. And she went to the doctor, and I said, what did the doctor say? The doctor told her, and this was just one of those, I don't really like Chinese doctors. And the doctor told her she took a shower, and the window was open, and the cold air hit her neck, and that has caused her to have a crick. And I'm just listening to her, and I'm like, okay. Like, I'm not a doctor by no means, but nah, that's wrong.
That's the same explanation you gave. You probably slept wrong.
Yeah.
And Dr. Nick, there we go.
The funniest thing is we had a new colleague that they got up quickly, and he pulled his hamstring, and I've pulled my hamstring. I know the feel and I know the walk, and I've seen kids cramp up at many sports events. And I said, you pulled your hamstring. All you need to do is the following. Okay, you first need to ice it for the first 3 days. You don't want to put heat because hamstrings don't want heat until they've offered 3 or 4 days. and you got to put like muscle rub on it. So if you have a muscle gun, try and massage it, and you got to put it up all the time. You don't want to be keep bending your hamstring and overstretching it. You don't want to stretch too much. So I'm giving him all this. He's like, okay, cool. And then he goes to the doctor, and I was like, why are you going to the doctor? Paid like 300-400 RMB for a consultant at a Chinese international doctor, because the international Chinese doctors, they love overcharging. And I was like, why did you go? Oh no, I went with one of the Chinese colleagues, and then she came and spoke to me, and she was like, Mr. Daniel, I'm very concerned about this person's leg. I was like, why? No, the doctor said it's infected. I'm like, infected? It's like, is there a wound? Is it open? She's like, no. They were rubbing it, and he's like, it's infected. And I'm like, he's pulled his hamstring. It's a muscle tightness. He's pulled it. He hasn't done a third degree or second degree pull. He's done a first tear, and that's all that happens. He's just
take him out back and put him down.
No, you just give him hot water.
It's like a horse. Just look at the flowers. Look at the flowers.
And I was like, and they gave him this patch. This patch. It was like for wounds. I'm like, mate, you know you can go to the pharmacy and get like cooling pads or heating pads, which they use for the period pains, or the ladies use for the period pains. I was like, that would have a better chance. They gave you a bandage? I was like, I could tell you, I'm by no means like a qualified physio, but I've been around sport long enough to be like, you pulled your hamstring. I've done both my hamstrings. I just had to rest. I was like, why did you go to the doctor? Like,
after
why?
a while, you just get to the point where you're just like, yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
Just do whatever you want to do for you. If that works for you, you do that.
Funny thing, you think Chinese are bad. Koreans are not far off, guys. And I'm not being stereotypical. But I had a Korean boy that fell, and there was a shard of glass that cut his knee, right? Sliced it open. Through the pants. I get to now our nurses, she's a very lovely nurse, but like she's a school nurse. When you meet Chinese school nurses, there is like a cap. And I'm not downgrading her at all, but she's at a cap of like dealing with injuries. Bro, she looked at this and she was like, I don't know what to do. They called me, because obviously I'm his advisor. It's one of my kids. I go downstairs, bro. There is blood on the floor. He's bleeding, but it's a surface cut, and it's just cuts, just blood. It's just normal blood. And I was like, cool. So I put my gloves on. I'm attending to this knee, and I'm fixing it, and I'm dabbing it, and I'm looking, and I'm like, okay, it's just a surface wound. My opinion, I don't think you need stitches. I've just had my stitches. I've had my stitches last October, and I was like, yeah, because when you open the leg, when he extended his knee, it looked really bad. But then I was like, bending his leg, it looked really surface. I was like, okay. I was like, I don't think you need to. You can go to the doctor. And he was like, I don't want to call my mom. Please don't call my mom. And I was like, I'm going to have to call your mom because this is a cut. So mom
she
comes
finds
in.
out, she's gonna be like, why don't you call me?
Yes. So obviously I called the mom, and the mom comes in. They go to the doctor, but they don't want to go to the international foreign doctors. They want to go to the international Chinese doctors. They do beauty stitches. Bruh. I was like, wait, hold on. Your knee. It's your knee, not your face. Now, I remember I got normal stitches for 200 RMB, and the lady was super fast, super cool, really nice. It healed. It's gone. You can't even see my scar. He got beauty stitches on his knee. And the beauty stitches dissolved.
How much was it?
This guy couldn't walk for a month. It was 5,000 RMB.
750 bucks American.
5,000 RMB for beauty.
Hey, he got some beautiful knees though.
Bro, I saw the scar yesterday. The scar is so big. I was like, why is the scar so big? Did you beautify the scar? Bro, I had 9 stitches on my head, 200 RMB, local hospital, because that's where I fell. But I was just like, you can't even see my scar. It's on my face. Like they were like the lady, like I had my Chinese colleague come and help me, and she was like, "Do you want beauty stitches?" I was like, "Oh." They're like 2,000, but the normal ones are 200. I looked at her and I was like, "You really asking me this question? You could have made the decision without me. Just give me the normal stitches." And I was like, "You guys, pedantic." But I understand it. Like you get it. It's a cultural thing. Like understanding medicine and like injuries. Like I think the frisbee had flown into my mouth and like bottom lip like popped. So like obviously there was a lot of blood. But like I just didn't stop. I was like, okay. And everyone's like panicking. They're like, stop. Like they like stopped the game. And I was like, why? You bleeding? And I was like, oh, here we go. So everyone's gonna die now, isn't it? And they were like, are you okay? And I was like, fine. And then I like put a tissue and I was like, okay, cool, can we play? They were like, no, we can't play. I was like, why not? No, you hurt. I was like,
You hurt.
I can play.
You're unable.
Butt hurt.
You need your lips to work to play frisbee.
And they're like, are you sure? Can we put like a plaster? I was like, it's on my lip. Like, what are you gonna do? Just give me like cotton wool or bandage and I'll hold it, or and I'll still play. Let's go. I mean, I've paid my money to play. I got an hour left. Let's go. What do you want me to do?
Side note: Are you still playing frisbee, Cello? I remember I saw you on the way back when I was playing football. You was playing frisbee on another field.
That was a long time ago. I tried getting back into it last year, but I was poor and
You need to come
couldn't
back.
buy the things that I wanted.
Well, you know, Daniel. He's sponsored. He plays for like a national
Oh
team.
my gosh! Please stop telling people that. I don't. I do not do that.
He plays for like well, not national. It's a pro team.
No, it's not.
Oh, I know the name. Yeah, I heard of them.
You've heard
The national pro team. Yeah, I think I actually saw you on a like poster near a bus station.
Yeah. Showing Daniel and throwing for him. He's freeze frame.
I can throw the frisbee, but I'm not that good. I'm slow. I'm an elephant, rhinoceros running around on the field sometimes.
Hey, you know who also was slow? Tom Brady.
Yeah, okay, but
he can throw real well.
It's a very different thing when it comes to frisbee. You have to actually move like side to side.
Oh, that's funny. My phone died. I had some more questions, but yeah, because I don't charge my phone.
Well, we can do the
better remember your
quick
name for your house as you go home with the dead phone.
I don't know my Chinese name for this house, but here, the cool thing about the UK is you just tell people your postcode, which is funny because you know, like in the US, like my home postcode is 40216, but that's like in the US, that's like a big area. So if you get into a taxi and I'm like, take me to 40216, they're gonna be like, the fuck is that at? What do you mean? But here it's like, yeah, but here it's like, if I get into a taxi and they just say like, oh, where do you live? I'll say Wirral, which is like a nipple next to Liverpool.
The whitest place in the world. Literally.
It's very white. It's very white.
It's so white, I'm uncomfortable.
It's very white. They're cool though. But
yeah, they're cool. They're cool, but they're creepy thriller movie vibes cool.
It's a lot of white people.
I'm born and raised in South Africa, being minority white. I've lived in South Africa and China, where I've always been minority color and minority race. When I went to Wirral, where you live, I felt uncomfortable.
Yeah.
I thought this is too many white people. Sure.
It's not even trying to like be like a racial tone to it.
No, it's just
it's a lot of white people. It's just what it is. But yeah, if I get into a taxi here and I just say my postcode, the only thing they're going to ask me is, okay, what number house? And I'll say 10, and then they'll take me right to my house. But the postcodes here are like
don't dox yourself.
Smaller. If you're gonna help on this rent or these bills, you know, I'm down for it. I ain't gonna find shit here. What is it when they SWAT you? They send a SWAT team to you?
Yep. SWAT.
I mean, that's cool. If they come here, I'm gonna be like, well, why y'all here? Can y'all take some of this trash out? I have no qualms about y'all popping in here. So
Yeah, that's the biggest reason why like 2 days after I made my apartment video, I
yeah.
left. Like I was moving that weekend, so I figured why not show you exactly how to get into this house?
Yeah, okay, nice. So you say you're in your sixth place now?
Uh, yeah, this is my
Well, since
sixth place.
since you've moved back, is this your second place or
Yeah,
third? Your
second.
second place. Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
this one's really baller. It's next to K11, which
Oh,
is
you're
like
not
the
too
most baller
nice.
mall
You're
in
on
all the
that side
city.
of the river, right?
Yeah, in the just north.
Are you by the? I'm not trying to get your exact location, but because my apartment was the
You were
best one
opposite
I
the
had.
Western.
I
Well,
was right
you
opposite the. Is
the
it the
Western.
Western or the
It's the
the
If
Western.
Western?
you lived there, you would go down one and then to the left.
Okay, I know it. That's not too
Is
far.
I think you're like near Greta and them,
No, no,
that
no, that's where I
community.
was before. They were actually my next door neighbors. Like I lived in building one
Oh,
one. They live in building 1-2.
what's the neighborhood called again?
That one's
Shemau.
Shimao.
Yeah, everyone wants to move there, but I didn't like Shamal.
No, don't do it.
I think it was just
I'm
people
I'm
like
I'm
the
bougie
name,
where
the
I am, man.
brand was what it
Yeah.
was. We looked at apartment there because they're all of our we had friends who stayed there and they had nice apartments. Me and Lucy went on an apartment tour and I didn't like it. Also, another thing, the apartment tours when you go on, if you're looking for a place here, tell these folks exactly verbatim what you want and what you do not want, because
Yeah.
they will try. Boy, they will try to finesse, finagle, give you some more. And when you get an apartment, check everything. Check everything. Look for chips in a piece of paint or a table. Make sure everything works. Measures. When I say you have to be as anal as you can possibly be about these apartments, because if they catch you slipping, you can move into something that's going to be trash. Something don't work. They might not be. You have to. That was the first thing I learned from my boy Freddie. Shout out to Freddie. When I first came to China, he told me, when you get your apartment, don't accept anything, don't sign anything until you are 100%, 1,000% sure this is everything that you need. You won't, you can, because everything's negotiable. In China, you can negotiate everything. So negotiate whatever you're going to do. Make sure your price is what you're willing to pay. Make sure it's this, that, and the third. Ask every question. Because they will. We had an apartment, Lucy's first apartment, which I didn't live. I didn't get that apartment with her. I moved into that apartment during COVID. I left my old apartment. She already had that one, and there was a chip when we left. There was they had like a little side mirror thing, and there was a chip in the bottom of the glass that's been there the whole time. And they tried to charge us for it. And then in the back room, there was some like mold on the wall, and they tried to charge us for it because they tried to say it was our fault. And luckily, Lucy had a video from when she like first moved in. She took a video of the apartment to send to her mom to show where she lived into, and in that video, that mold was still there. But if she didn't have that video, they were going to like not give us our deposit back. Um, Same thing. I moved into my last apartment because I knew this when I moved in. Before we signed anything, you can ask Lucy. I was in there measuring tables. I was in there looking under couches, pulling everything out. I was like trying to flush the toilet. They was like, "Oh, well, no one's lived there. The water don't work right now. Cut it on. We ain't moving in till I see all these toilets flush. I'm not moving in." I cutting every switch on. We had a dishwasher. Put a cup in there. Let me see. Let me see the cup get clean. I don't. It is not to say that's like I don't want to talk down on them like they're just trying to finesse
Nah,
you every
but
time.
they
But
are.
It's business.
it's a business in today's world. Everybody's trying to make $1. And if you slipping and I can make $3 off you instead of one or whatever the case is, I can make 100 or 1,000
Yeah, they're gonna do it.
because they're gonna do it. It's, a lot of these real estate agents you see in these apartments, they don't really make a lot, and a lot of it I'd imagine is like commission or something like that. If they can finesse, They will if you leave a hole for opportunity, they will take it. So yeah, if you get into these apartments, man. But once again, you move to a country like China, you'll meet the expat community and stuff. So you can talk to people, get tips on where to go, get advice on how you need to move around and survive, what you need to say, what not to say. You'll meet a lot of Chinese people. The Chinese teachers at First Leap helped me a lot. Once I told them I'm not living in the first 3 apartments they showed me, I pulled a girl to the side and I was like, look, stop fucking playing with me. Stop showing me this. I said I want this. Da da da. So yeah,
Another
man.
thing, because I wanted 2 bathrooms, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the dude that was helping me, the agent, he was just like, "But why?" And I'm like, "You don't need to ask why. I'm telling you what I want."
Tell you what I want, bro. What's up with all the questions?
Just follow the rule. Just follow my commands.
Like
and
I'm willing to
you will
pay
get-
for it.
Yeah.
Just give me 2.
Yeah.
So I feel that.
Yeah. So and that's why my last apartment, I think we had a really, really nice apartment.
You guys did.
We had a really nice apartment. We was on like the 24th floor. We had no neighbors. So I had some speakers. I used to thump my music as loud as hell because I had no neighbors, up or down or any. I had the one neighbor on the floor was like on the complete opposite side of the floor. So I never even saw him. I just knew someone lived there. But everything in there, the only thing they finessed us on, which I still think is funny, we had a couch. It was a leather couch, but on the couch was a blanket. Like they had a blanket over the couch, like over the bottom and the top. And I messed up. I didn't look under the blanket. So I'm in the house looking at everything. Okay, cool. This is the price we settled on. Cool. We signed. Boom. We moved in. Everything's fine. So the ink is dry. We had some people come in, cleaned it. We moved all our stuff in. Cool. We decided to sit on the couch. Cool. Hey, let's take this blanket off. We don't want this blanket. Took this blanket off. This couch was like pleather. Did not notice. And it was so bad that you would sit on the couch and you would get up. My friend Adam sat down on the couch. This is how we found out. He came and like laid on our couch. You know Adam. Adam pretty big. He laid on the couch and then he got up and his whole back was just covered in like black flakes.
Stuff, yeah.
And I was like, oh. And we looked at the couch and the couch was like shedding all the leather. And I went to the landlord and I was like, yo, like, what's up with this couch? And of course they were like, oh, that's real leather. That couch cost us 20,000 RMB. And so I wrote back, you got scammed because this couch is not worth 20 grand. In any currency, this couch ain't worth 20 grand. And we had a whole back and forth and they were trying to make us pay for it, blah, blah, blah. So I said, cool. Because in my head, this isn't our couch. When we leave this apartment, this is still your couch. You got to deal with this. So we bought the couch covers that you can like wrap around all the seats and like tuck it under. And they were all black. So it was still nice, but under it was all the shedding. So once we moved out, yeah, like on your thing. So once we moved out and we took that off, oh, it would just look terrible. But we left it because we was like, hey, this is your couch, man. So they tried to get us. And that was the one part I always regretted. I didn't check under the blanket on the couch. So, but yeah, man, check everything. Check it all if you're moving into these apartments.
All right. So coming to an end, we're gonna ask Cello some rapid fire questions that we came up with.
Boy.
All right. Don't worry, it's not that bad. So first of all, your favorite local food. Go. Don't think about it.
Caihua, which is basically fried cauliflower.
Oh, is that with the oil and the spices? It comes in those little bowls.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah. Okay.
Most memorable travel experience in China.
Oh boy. Going to, yeah, I've been quite a bit of places. I think going to Chengdu was really awesome. Like just seeing how just crazy everything is. Like Chengdu and Chongqing, I think both are just mind-boggling like places. Like how can you have this, just walk out one place and then you're on the 20th floor, and then you go down to like the first. It's just wild.
Street level. Yeah.
Yeah,
But
and just like
every
the
floor is its own world.
and I was pretty big into like going to clubs back then, and like back
Twerking.
like 5 years ago, just to have like entire ceilings made of like TV and just like chandeliers that moved independently of each other. I mean, the US
Yeah.
is starting, they're like starting to get a taste of that, but like they've been on that here for like half a decade. Like
And
your
it'll be the
local
most
bar probably has that.
yeah, the most local clubs will have some stuff like that.
Yeah. So it's like in America, it's like, man, this is crazy. Like Las Vegas, like, wow. It's like, bruh, like I could walk 5 minutes from my house. Like
And
it's
I've
right
got it.
there.
It's just a town club over here.
Yeah, it's like a normal Wednesday night.
Yeah. That
Um,
sounds about right.
one thing you miss from America. One thing you miss from home.
Them ARs, baby.
As much as I love hearing shots at night, I'm good on
Have
that.
just put you to sleep.
I think Puerto Rican food, because there's no such thing in America or in China. Like you can find like okay Mexican food, but it's not the same.
Yeah.
But I definitely
Have
miss
you
Puerto
tried
Rican food.
Shanghai?
Yeah, yeah. There's some places like Shanghai and like Suzhou. They
Yeah.
have some really good, like,
But
I
it's
shouldn't
not.
say really good. They have normal,
Yeah. The
like
basic.
just
The basic.
baseline.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
I don't trust nachos in China. They're in Shanghai. I ordered nachos and the guy came. I still have a picture of him. I would show it, but my phone's dead. I took a picture.
I remember.
I never
like, it
take
was, like,
pictures of food.
squirted
get me
on
in this,
cheese.
man.
I never take pictures of food. I took a picture of this, and all I ordered was some nachos. And I figured you could just Google nachos and just give me what you just. The first picture you see of a nacho, just give me that. It don't gotta be nothing crazy. Give me some cheese, some chips, maybe some jalapenos. I didn't ask for nothing crazy. Then this man came with some chips and like Kraft slices, but just cut up and just put, not even melted, just put down on there.
Tight.
I said, bro, what's this? I was like, the cheese ain't even melted. This man said, oh, I'm sorry. This is Shanghai. So I'm like, y'all should know how to do this. This man took this back
You put it in the
and
microwave.
microwave blasted for like a minute and brought it back. So now it's cheese slices. You know, Kraft cheese don't melt like that, not in the microwave.
Mhm.
And it was cheese slices with like the burnt corners, but it's still a slice of cheese. I was like, no, I ain't paid for it. I left. I was like, bro, there's no way in hell. That day, and I never had someone get under my skin that bad. That day pissed me off so bad that this man fucked up these nachos.
Now you know how I
And
feel
was
when I
like,
go to a place that's like, we got burritos, and there's like nothing inside that's a burrito. It's terrible.
Yeah. So you gotta be
you got to be
pick
ready
and
for
choose,
giving up
man.
a few things.
Yeah.
One last question: a pop culture taboo you think should be normal?
Oh, Chinese music isn't that bad. I'm gonna be real.
Chinese, and I'm gonna stand on this. Chinese, Japanese, whatever, Korean, Asian, the Chinese R&B. If you listen to like Asian R&B music, granted, have no clue what they're saying. However, shit do be banging, man.
But yeah,
China do have some songs where it's like, I don't know what y'all saying, but
you feel
this
it.
is a banger. Yeah.
Yeah, I've been going into like indie band kind of like just kind of relaxed but kind of rock at the
Yeah.
same time.
Yeah.
There's some local places. What is it? The 1905, 1901.
Oh, 1905. 1905. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
they have
Damn,
live
I missed that
music.
place. Yeah, they got that live house connected on
Yeah,
the end of it, right?
performances and stuff.
Okay. Nice. I used to go there. They got some nice little boutique shops in there as well.
So if there would be like some kind of culture, I don't know if it'd be specifically pop culture like taboo, because like a lot of people in America don't really know like Chinese music like that.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I think that
Give
would
it a
be
shot, man.
that'd be
I say
one.
give it a shot. Don't
Nothing
listen to
mainstream though.
the first song I ever heard in China before we get off of here is I was in the car with Lucy We weren't even like dating or nothing. We were just like going to. Remember, we used to go to the mall headquarters for the meetings for First League.
Balian.
Yeah, Balian. And we was in a
Yeah.
taxi one day headed to Balian, and I'm on my phone looking at my phone, and the guy's on the radio. The radio's playing, and all I heard was nigga, nigga, nay, nay, nigga, nay, nay, nigga, nay, nay. So I look up, and Lucy's already looking at me because she's like, I know you hear this, and I'm like, but the funny thing is, the song kind of bops.
Yeah, it does.
It kind of bops. I'm like, if people listen, go listen to the song. Actually, kind of bops. It got a cool little video to it and everything. But all I kept hearing was like nigga, nigga, nay, nay, and I'm just like, there's no way that they saying what I think they said. And then I found out it's nega, and that is like this or that, that or this or that.
ZHGE, right?
Yeah. So basically, they're saying like this, that, this or that, this or that. It's basically what they're saying. There's no racial tone to it. But the first time I heard it, it was like, and it's more like a naga or something like that.
Yeah.
But I was like, I was only in Shenyang for maybe like my first 2 weeks. And I'm like, there's no way they bopping nigga nay nay on the radio at 2 p.m. on a Tuesday. So, but yeah, no, Chinese music. I've just randomly that you said I've fallen down a Asian R&B hole. There's this guy I follow. He's like from Memphis, but he posts like videos, and in some of the videos he posts is him dancing to like Asian R&B, and they got some bangers, man, for sure. I fell down a little hole. I can't tell you the artist names, but I fell down a little hole, man. I'm like, yo, this some heat, man. So for those listening, man, just give it a shot, man. A lot of Chinese artists out there, a lot of Asian artists in general. I think a lot of it because we're not exposed to a lot of that, so we don't. It's just one of those like you just don't know. But you get out there, man. Check out some of them global artists, man. It's nice.
Damn, I just became a Chinese hipster.
Are you squatting, smoking cigarettes yet?
I'm not Russian.
Them Chinese girls, man. I'll be seeing them outside the club. They squat and they just smoke them cigarettes.
Yep.
Chinese, man.
It's starting to warm up, so I'll start seeing more of that.
Yeah.
Oh, for sure. All
right.
Is that what? Yeah. Let's go.
Dad jokes? Do you have dad jokes? Anyone got dad jokes?
I did. My phone died. I did have.
All right. So why don't we do this, Nick? Why don't you tell us a dad joke from the past that would be the first dad joke you would ever tell your son?
Pressure.
Well, so it can't be racist. It can't be any dark humor.
So the boring ones.
So it cuts out 95% of my jokes. I would say, I can say the first joke that he would probably know, and it's going to probably come from Lucy, because Lucy loves this joke, is what did the daddy buffalo say to the baby buffalo? Bye, son.
That's a good one. That's a good one. That has to be your first one. Sarah, do you have a joke?
Why are you getting milk or something?
Huh? Maybe.
You said bye, son.
Bye, son. Are you going to return, Nick?
Huh? Maybe. Depends on his future. You know, let's give it about 15 years. If he signed to a Prim team, I'll be like, hey, son, missed you.
I got that milk.
I got that milk at 2 gallons this time. Look at that. Yeah. You got any jokes, Daniel?
I've got one. Sarah, do you have?
I heard one today, but I don't think it's appropriate.
Nick said a few terrible ones in his day. It's fine. We haven't been cancelled yet, and Nick is still here. We're okay. It's all good. If it's not good enough, we'll just take it out.
You cut it.
Yeah.
You want me to go first, or you want to go?
You go for it.
What do you call a deaf gynecologist?
I know this.
I don't know it, but it's already funny.
A lip reader.
That can stay. That's a good one. All right.
What's the difference between a nearsighted gynecologist and a dog? They both got a wet nose. Your turn, Daniel.
Right. Okay. All right, so mine's goes like this. The fact that jellyfish have survived for 500 million years despite not having a brain is great news for my students and their parents.
On it. Easy.
I told that joke to my kids. They were not impressed. They were like, what? And I was like, well. And then half of my kids were like, no, this is not right. And the other kids were like, what do you mean? And I was like, those are the kids.
It's like that. You ever heard that where it says, all the bodies on Everest were once very motivated people? So it pays to just not have no motivation, to just stay alive longer.
You got to watch child kidnapping videos to get motivated.
If you got kids, just watch interviews of child abductors. That's gonna get you in the gym. You're gonna hit them push-ups and them squats and them sit-ups. I'm telling you, there's a trend. And all the daddies got big old bellies, or they just don't do nothing, or they real skinny. Just no definition. You know, can't run to the end of the block real fast. Listen to me. Saying you're an easy mark walking around, so hey, that's the good one. Your kid getting taken and heartbreak. Those are the best two ways to get in shape.
It sounds like two movies I've heard before.
Yeah. And I bet you the guy was in shape at the end of it.
Yeah, definitely.
So it's proven. It's the proven.
Hey, man. The results speak for themselves. But yeah, at the tail end of the episode, man, episode 44. Episode 44. Thank you, Cello Alamo.
Yeah.
You know, I always call you Cello Alamo. Is Alamo your last name? Okay. Sorry, I ain't trying to give away your details like that.
Why don't you just give me social security number out as well, Nick? Kira.
Yeah, what was that house number you said earlier?
10. What's your postcard?
There's a lot of tens. 10.
The only black guy in the world. Please go to that house.
That's really what it is. I've talked about where I've lived before on a fair few of these episodes. Honestly, if you go to the world and be like, you know any black people, it's gonna be like 3 of us max. So you can really narrow it down. The same thing in China. When I was in China, if you'd have came to Shenyang and said, I'm looking for a black guy with locks, it would have been really easy to find me. That's why I never committed no crimes. Yeah. So I'm like, I would never commit a crime in China because where would I run to?
Yeah.
Where would I could literally go nowhere without someone. They post one picture, and no matter where I'm at, there he is.
Found him.
So, nah, I stay away from it. But yeah, episode 44. Thank you, Cello, for having us, man. Hopefully, we get 1 million of your 40 million followers, man. It'll be real cool. Appreciate you, man. Till next time.
Until next time.
Big Belly Pats. We are out. Peace.
Cheers.